Hey y'all, it's Papa Boko here to deliver a tarot energy reading for the month of July 2022. So, starting off with the cards, which are Seven of Cups and Ten of Pentacles. Found this very interesting because Seven of Cups comes up when we're having emotional choices, when we're kind of asked to lay out what we've invested into, what we have experienced, and what we've taken from those experiences, and really look at it and take stock and ask ourselves whether something is worth continuing to commit to, whether it's still the experience that you thought that it was, or is it something that you want to continue pouring your energy into, right? Because when we're thinking about illusions, right? That's one of the keywords for Seven of Cups is illusions. It is because if you continue to go through experiences with a specific belief system that never changes or adapts to new information, then you're stuck trying to live out a life that no longer exists in the way that you initially wanted it to. And so what this translates to, in a collective sense, yes, I'm about to talk about COVID, but in the sense that what it's doing is disrupting the capitalist machine. And the way that we know it's disrupting the capitalist machine is because the government, which is especially the United States government, and a little more specifically the United States government, is run by corporations, by capitalists, by people whose vested interest is in maintaining wealth for themselves. So that's the thing that we're currently experiencing. And so Seven of Cups is going to tell you, oh, we can go out again. You don't have to do this. You can take off your mask. You can go back to investing into the things that you felt were taken away from you by this virus or by this pandemic. And instead, I would actually prompt you to think about how you've been able to divest from emotional realities that don't exist. And what does that mean, right? That means, I'll use myself as an example. Going to the club is not a priority anymore, because what has the pandemic taught or shown is that those activities don't, for me, I'm speaking for myself and asking you to think about where this lands in your life, is that those things don't actually fulfill deeply what I was looking for fulfillment, right? The privilege that I was able to have to cut that part of my life out and find something better allows me to see what other emotional investments actually matter more to me. And where I thought going out and doing these things and spending money essentially, right, is paying to have experiences. I'm paying money to fulfill a label, an emotional experience, and that is of being a gay cis man in a city. Those are the things that I'm invested into. Those are the narratives and the emotional things. But I'm not the same age that I was before. The world doesn't work the same, and the pandemic has put me in contrast with the desires that I can foresee for the future. And the reason I even put this, right, is the Ten of Pentacles, which to me seems to be the answer to the dilemma that comes with the Seven of Cups, right? Because the Ten of Pentacles, Pentacles generally are just talking to us about sustainability, of longevity, of things that take actual energy that when they as it can manifest into the physical, it maintains. When you have something, ideas don't mean anything until they're in the real world, right? Until you can see them or practically kind of understand them. And this is the power of Pentacles. So Ten of Pentacles being the final stage of the full experience of Pentacles, to me, the word here is network, right? Is understanding community as a means to achieving what it is that you need, and maintain whatever it is you need to maintain. As we talk and say in the Divination for Liberation sidereal astrology community, survival is a shared burden and an individual obligation. And really, Ten of Pentacles is asking us to think about the ways that we really set ourselves up to be in community with other people. How do we set ourselves up to be connected with resources, which are essentially people, right? Resources are not always monetarily, right? Because as much as it's a pentacle, right, it really doesn't, a pentacle, it really it really depends on the higher structures that determine the value of what it is. So that's why it's less important to focus on physical material things as a way to find security. And really, Ten of Pentacles, that to me really calls for that, because the contrast, let's just say, with Ten of Cups, which is, you know, about joy and family and also about community, it contrasts in that it's more of an emotional and a personal sense of satisfaction, of completion, of being able to connect. And yeah, you do have a lot of relationships, but those are, to me, cups always go back to the personal, always go back to your own bodily experience with something. Pentacles is coming to us and saying, well, this is something that lives outside of you, and so giving you access to it. And that also translates to land, right? So how do we utilize there goes my cat scratching. There goes the utilizing of a communal resource, right? A resource that is accessible to all, to the benefit of the many as well, by, you know, using your food or using what you do and using your network essentially to assist other people and to assist each other. Because, I mean, I'm gonna go on my soapbox, and we really have to think about the ways that capitalism has, I mean, one of the main functions of capitalism is creating monopolies. A monopoly, as a game would have you, you know, understand, is that you want to gain control of everything. And that's what these people are doing. Like, I know we say corporations a lot, I say corporations a lot, but corporations, there are legitimate groups of people behind those things that are benefiting off of the things that we're out here fighting and struggling for. And so what we have to remind ourselves of is, with Seven of Cups, is what is actually being presented to me. What is the actual experience that is being offered? What is the cup? What is actually inside of here? And illusions are that issue where you think, oh, I'm just going to do this, or it's just this. And it's just this because somebody else is giving that to you, is telling you that's what something is. And at no point do we take stock of what's actually continuously important, right? Because the next stage in the Seven of Cups is the Eight of Cups, is leaving behind and searching. So at some point, you're going to realize that what you have is not what you need anymore, and searching for better and for more. And so before we maybe get there, maybe it is just taking stock about what you need, what you want in your life as of right now, and how are you actually going to get there. Because I think we don't realize that this is a moment for everybody to pivot, right? I think I was talking on Twitter about this Mars and Saturn kind of relationship, because they're going to be aspecting each other, right? So transitioning into the sidereal astrology, I'm really looking at Mercury, because Mercury is giving us is amplifying the conversations for us. So what that means is that Mercury, wherever the sign it's in, it's right now it was retrograding for a while, right? So it was going really slow, and it was going backwards through Taurus. But now that it's back moving forward, Mercury is the fastest planet, and so it transits Gemini, sidereal Gemini for the until next week, and then it's into Cancer, and it's just choom 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 floating through. So the conversations and what we're gonna need and understand, Mercury is gonna help us communicate that. And so right now with Gemini, we're thinking about information, misinformation. What are we seeing, and what is the thing versus what's the story behind it, right? The full moon in sidereal Sagittarius is coming up on Wednesday, July 13th. And so I think we have to see how what's being revealed to us is a way that we've been indoctrinated to, in my opinion, even view information a specific way, right? There's a certain way that you even approach information that's being given to you when context is being given to you kind of already, and it's being assumed. So what that means is that when you're reading, let's just think about the government again, and with COVID. I mean, this is the most stark thing that's happening in our society right now. And to really think that the government, the people who we pay to allocate the resources that we give them, okay, they're sitting here and they're giving you a story so that they can keep their alliances with the corporations who actually run that. And what are they hiding from you? The fact that they need you to spend money. They need you to go back to work. For what? For whose benefit, right? And these are the questions that I think we're being asked to really wrestle with and really think about. Well, how is what I know and what I feel like I know actually something that's been told to me, right? So when we and Saturn entering Capricorn in because it's retrograded. It retrograded a couple weeks ago, or stationed retrograde, and now it's going back into Capricorn, and it'll be there until January of 2023. So the rest of the month we're back in Capricorn. And Capricorn is COVID, or Saturn in Capricorn is COVID, as we know, as we're watching before our very eyes, and monkeypox. These things are all kind of coming up. And it's like, I want people to really sit and think about how 2 years ago we knew less about something and we're more afraid. Now we know more and we're doing less. And we're kind of in this weird thing that's not actually weird, right? And so what are your networks, right? What are your relationships like that can support you when you can't depend on this way of existing as it is, right? So I think Saturn in Aquarius was giving us this opportunity to see ourselves, to disassociate, on some level from the reality, to be able to see how our identities shape the way that we perceive and conceptualize the world. And now that we're back into Capricorn, we're seeing, okay, well, how do those identities, not convictions, right, but the identities, how I view and identify myself, how do they kind of push back against the reality that is being that is just presented? Earth is just like no sound. It just is, right? So thinking, there's going to be a lot of water in the air in the next coming weeks, right? We're going to have Mercury in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Cancer on the 16th. And that really, that is going to set up Mercury's trine to Jupiter, which is still in Pisces. So that's, to me, communicating, like, that's all body stuff. So how during this time is your body revealing to you what you need and what you don't need, what's true and what's not true? And how do you learn how to trust that and not trust something that has proven to you over and over again that it's not looking for your best interest? And I even want to say that we don't even have to go into a conviction. You don't have to go fire. Just look at it through logic and see how these things are harming you. So I hope that was helpful for people. I'm Papa Boko. My books are open. You can book me for a tarot or a sidereal astrology birth chart reading. I hope this was helpful, and stay safe and be aware, y'all. Mwah.